to start getting you ready for a big weekend of Arizona basketball here. Coming up, revenge game, what Arizona needs to do to get back on track. Let's get started here on Locked On Wildcats.
You are Locked On Wildcats, your daily podcast on the Arizona Wildcats, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for keeping it locked on, Wildcats. I'm your host, Mike Luke. All right, we got Colorado, we got Utah coming up. What do you need to know about Colorado? What do you need to know about Utah? And all right, now where to start? First things first. Utah. Well, let's talk about Utah first because that's the revenge game. Utah is, quite frankly, they don't stink. But this is also a game that Arizona should win. This is absolutely a game that Arizona should win. It is at home. It's not a revenge game, or excuse me. It's a game that you didn't take Utah as seriously before as maybe you did other times. I don't really know what the deal is, but way you lost to Utah and you got stumped. You got absolutely thumped by Utah. And that's something that that's something that Arizona fans should be aware of, and that's something that I'm assuming that Arizona basketball fans are going to be aware of for sure. All right, so let's talk about it. Utah. This is a game where Arizona, I'm not even going to preview Utah as much as just saying that Arizona needs to do essentially what it does. Azuolas Tubelis needs to play up to his potential. Now, if he plays up to his potential, then you're going to be in a pretty good spot right there because, again, Utah doesn't have anybody that can guard Azuolas Tubelis. And coming off a tough game against Stanford, I'm of the opinion that I think you're going to see a nice little Azuolas Tubelis out there. I think you're going to see a guy who is not only is he going to be ready to rock and roll, I think that he's going to be a guy who will I think he's going to put up a big game. I think that he knows what he needs to do, and I think he's going to be ready to do it. And again, he hasn't had many bad games all season, but he is coming off a tough game, and while he's coming off a tough game, that I think bodes very, very well for the University of Arizona for him to have a very nice backup, a nice little get balance right there. I think that you're going to see that from him. Although I think you're going to see Oumar Ballo do the exact same thing. I think Oumar Ballo is going to revert back to the 15-8 guy, and I think you're going to see a big time performance this entire week from them. Because again, you got to remember that Utah beat Arizona. And that was really a shock. So they're not going to catch up on. Or sneak up on Arizona. That's not going to happen. And so there's kind of where you're at right there. But this to me is far more about what Arizona does than what Utah or Colorado do. We're going to get to Colorado here in a minute, but this is a game. This is a game where I think it's important. Not only important, I'm going to say imperative for Arizona to I think it's going to be imperative for Arizona to how do I put this? It's going to be imperative for Arizona to be able to make its shots and play tough. Because, again, the thing that I think bothered a lot of people against Stanford is that Arizona didn't play play tough, and I think that's the problem. That is that I think is that definitely is a that is a thing that Arizona's got to be able to. That is the thing that Arizona has to be able to do. And if you play tough, there's no reason that you won't win this game. Now, if you're Arizona, the one thing that you got to do is and this all comes down to Kerr Kriisa. This all comes down to Kerr Kriisa, Courtney Ramey, Pella Larson on the perimeter. If they make their shots, if they play smart, I think they're going to be okay. But we'll find out where they are at that point. But I do think right now that Arizona is in an interesting spot because you look around the country right now, everybody's dropping games, Arizona is probably in a stage right now, and we're having a slight technical issue. Let's take a quick break right here. But yeah, let's take a quick break. We'll get it on the other side. Thanks for keeping it locked on, Wildcats. I apologize. We're having a little bit of a technical issue right here. I don't know exactly what is happening, but either way, back at you right here. If Arizona beats Utah and beats Colorado, you're squarely back right into a number one. Or you're squarely back into that number one seed discussion. And if you get back into that if you get back into the discussion, then I think that you're probably you're going to have a chance because all these teams are going to drop games. All these teams are going to drop games, and not only are they going to drop games, they're going to drop games, I think, pretty consistently. And if they drop games consistently, then I think that Arizona can take care of its business. If Arizona takes care of its business, then you're going to be in a good spot right there. And let's talk about this. FanDuel. Let's say that you're looking at this and you're saying, Mike Luke doesn't know what he's talking about. Mike Luke's an idiot. And I want to bet against what Mike Luke is saying. That's where you hop on FanDuel. You hop on FanDuel and you're going to have everything you know. You're going to have everything you need to know. You can get, first of all, FanDuel.com/lockedon. You can put down $5 and get $150 in free plays. That simple, that easy. 21 and up, Arizona only. Yeah, all right, but no, not Arizona only. And again, that's what you need to do though. FanDuel Sportsbook, and you're going to be in a good spot. So check it out, FanDuel.com/lockedon. All right, I think Arizona is going to smoke all of these, or Utah and Colorado, and I think it's going to be fairly easy. I think they're going to be very focused. I think they're going to be ready to go. Now, again, with Colorado, it's kind of interesting. You've got a group of people. You got a group of people that with KJ Simpson. KJ Simpson is a guy that was committed to Arizona, can really, really play. I think he's going to be an all-conference guy. Maybe this year, maybe next year. I don't know. But Tad Boyle's done a pretty good job there. I don't really buy into the whole thing that Tad Boyle can't coach or can't play. I think Tad Boyle's actually pretty good. You got Cody Williams coming in there next year. But again, Arizona is on a different level. As we've talked about, I think Tommy Lloyd has done a fairly good job of masking these problems that Arizona has right now. But not only that, I think that Arizona's got a pretty good opportunity right now to be able to move up and be able to move up in the rankings there a little bit. And I think that, right now, Arizona is, I expect them to take care of business at home. If they don't take care of business at home, there is a big problem. And because, again, they should. These teams aren't as good as Arizona. I would go on to FanDuel.com, and I would put Arizona to cover both of these. All right, we'll be right back with you, and we are going to talk about some of the interesting things coming in here. Thanks for keeping it locked on, Wildcats. I'm your host, Mike Luke. All right, now we're at the we're at the point now in the Pac-12 season where you know that essentially Arizona's probably not going to win the conference. But so again, you need some help on that end, and I don't think I'm breaking any news right there. But with UCLA if UCLA is probably going to win out, Arizona, if you can win that game, if you can win against UCLA, again, you're right back in it for a number 1 seed. We're going to talk about that a ton tomorrow. Again, having a few technical issues right here. Going to sign off, but we'll talk tomorrow. You've been listening to Locked On Wildcats.